Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for your coming to my presentation. And today I will present our research about the determinant of cocoa export growth to the main export destination countries. And my name is Dwi Putri Ivo. I'm from Sulawesi Marit University. This article consists of introduction, method, result and discussion, and also a conclusion. First is introduction, and what we'll talk about. First is what is cocoa. The second is how is cocoa contribution to the GDP of Indonesian economy, and then which countries are Indonesia export destination. What is cocoa? Cocoa is the main agricultural commodity for most countries in the world, but as exporting and importing country. Cocoa is the fourth-largest GDP contributor of Indonesia production after oil palm, rubber, and coffee. And the value of cocoa exports show that this commodity is one of Indonesia's mainstay export in the agriculture, forestry, fisheries sectors. And most of Indonesia cocoa production is exported to foreign countries, and the residual is marketed domestically. Indonesia cocoa exports are still dominated in the form of beans, 80%, and the market share of Indonesia cocoa beans is 15%, while the market share of produced cocoa products as pasta, butter, and powder is less than 6%. In 2020, the top of 5 importing countries for Indonesia cocoa are Malaysia, America, India, China, and Netherlands. And condition of free trade make the international market controlled by countries that have competitiveness. So, to increase export of Indonesia cocoa beans, it is necessary to know the factor of increased export of Indonesia cocoa beans to the international market. And the gravity model approach is different from the other model that do not include the distance variable in the equation. And the second is method. We use gravity model, and we can see in the screen that Y is grow export value of Indonesia cocoa beans, and GDP-G is GDP real importing, GDP is GDP real Indonesia, this economic distance, Pro is production, Pro-T is productivity, ER is exchange rate, price, G is world cocoa bean price, and price E is domestic Indonesia cocoa price, and then vol is volume, population, area harvested area, and tax is export tax. And then we use two statistical tests with F-test, T-test, and test goodness of fit. And result and discussion about determinant factor of Indonesia cocoa beans to export destination country. We use using pool least square or POLLS, and the L square is 83.56%. And the result of F-test with probability equals 0 to 0, less than alpha, equal 5%. And the result of T-test, the GDP of exporting country, exporting volume are significant at 99%, and economic distance are significant at 95%, and population of exporting country significant at 90%, while the other variable not are significant. The other variable are not significant. And then we can see the table above that export destination GDP or GDP export destination is negative effect and significant. It is accordance with research which states the real GDP has a significant and positive effect on export value of cocoa beans, and increase the real GDP of country will make increase of size of its economy. And the economic distance, the result is significant and negative effect, because if the distance between exporting and importing country become large, export will be expensive. And then the export volume, we can see significant and have positive effect. By knowing the export volume of cocoa beans, it will be to estimate the quantity of demand of cocoa bean for exporting country. And the last is population. Population was significant and negative effect. Increase the population in importing country will decrease the export value of Indonesian cocoa beans. When the population increase, there is an increase in the labor force. As the result, there is an increase in the total domestic product, so that the supply of export goods decrease. And the conclusion of my research, variable that affect the export value of cocoa beans show varying result, and the model estimation result can be seen in the table above. Factors that have significant effect on the export value of cocoa beans are GDP, exporting country, export volume, economic distance, and population of exporting country. This is my reference. And last, if you want any question, please tell me. And thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.